Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to your internet. Welcome back to Redneck Radio, the live stream, where today you get an extra side helping of, let's see what sounds good, fried potatoes. That just was the first thing popped into my mind today. This sounded good. And bite me, J Kid, by the way, boy. With me today, as you all can see, is Alex.
Hello, everybody. How are we?
Yeah, it's been a while, buddy. I mean, I know you was on last week for a little while, but uh just seems like it's been forever.
It has been. It has been. I'm actually off work early today. Believe it or
Yeah.
not, I'm actually off work early today. I was supposed to do training today, but I slept in bed through it.
Oh, trust me. Last night, it was very unusual. I've been an insomniac my entire life. I don't remember not being one. But I laid down about 11 o'clock, which is about average for me. And I was out. Bang. I worked yesterday, but I was out. And the next thing I knew, the alarm was going off to get up and go get the granddaughters for school this morning. Trust me, I did not want to wake up. I was like, no, 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 no. I'm finally sleeping. No.
Well, my boss was like, right, you need to go do this training. New starter training. Right. 2.5 months later. And I was like, but it's after a night shift. And she was like, you got to go. I was like, okay. So she took me off night 4, because I do 4 night shifts and then I have 4 off. I didn't wake up.
Yeah.
I was supposed to have 2 hours sleep, get up, wash my nasty ass.
Wash that butt, boy.
Go get some fuel, go get some gasoline, and then drive like 50 odd miles to main office and do 3 hours worth of training. And I was supposed to be there just before 1. I woke up at 1:30.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And I called my boss and she was like, you're not there, are you? And I went, oh no. And she was like, oh, I'll just make some excuses for you. And I was like, yes. So, because apparently we get these 3 days leave that aren't included in our actual holidays.
Right.
And she's just going to use that as an excuse, saying, oh, Alex is just taking one of these. So
yeah, we call those floating holidays.
Yeah. And I tell you what, mate, as I said to you, and there's a few people in the chat who know about this because I spoke to them in private about it in the last couple of nights. This block of shifts has been the worst of it so far for me. So, but I feel a lot better and I feel a lot more confident about it. So,
well, good.
Yeah. But I was put in a predicament. I was put in a position that is worse. I view it as worse than violence.
Well, before you get all off on that, there's something I want to get off my chest real quick before I forget about it. And I'm really glad to have you here, man. This feels like the old days. This is how this stream started, you and me, with the occasional monkey man,
Yeah, and you guys, you have no idea. Like, for those unaware of how Redneck Radio started, it involved me and 2 other people bullying the old man.
Oh, they had to bully
me
bad.
A week. For about a week it took to get the old mule to actually start a freaking show.
Yeah. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Hi, Necro. Hope you're good, dude. Hi, Fab, and cheers for sharing the stream as well, girly.
Yeah, glad you stopped by, Necro. Anyway, what I wanted to say was I wanted to thank you and Michael Weiner for shouting out Redneck Trek, the premiere on Tuesday, because it did work. It worked. There for a while, I thought it was just going to be me and Michael at the premiere, which I expected because it was a weekday. I would not have been surprised if that happened, but it wasn't. A lot of people showed up, and the overall views are up by 1/3. So
I'm good. I'm glad.
Yeah, thank you.
I know how much you enjoy making the machinima.
Oh, I do. It's a labor of love. Even if only one person watched it, I'd probably still make them because I just have a blast doing it. So But yeah, I wanted to get that out of the way. So your shift, you were saying.
Yeah. So night 2, basically one of my residents, I won't go too much into detail because obviously confidentiality and all that kind of stuff. He got aggressive when I asked him to turn his music down. And I walked away, and he called me a few names, but my skin has gotten a lot thicker.
Yeah,
I have to have a thicker skin in this friggin' job. Jesus Christ, the things I've been called so far. But whatever. I walked away. He turned the music down, but out of spite, he turned it back up a few minutes later and wasn't just singing along to it. He was shouting along to the lyrics, and I was like, "Oh no!" So I got my colleague to go knock on the door, because that's what you're supposed to do in these situations. If a resident shows hostility towards me, we're supposed to switch out, and vice versa. Because that gives the person who's being aggressive and angry a fresh face, and it kind of throws them for 6, right?
Right.
So she went and knocked on the door the second time. Unfortunately, but the thing is, she's a lot more aggressive with the knocking, and he came out of that door flying. And I believe if it had been me this time, I think he would have swung. But I think he came out, he saw her, didn't obviously throw his weight around, started swearing and stuff like that. I was stood in the office, but I couldn't see around the corner, so I quickly moved into a position where I could, provide support and switch out if need be.
Right.
When I got to the corner, I turned and faced him because he was approaching the corner, and he put his hand on me.
Uh-oh.
Now it was only a nudge into the wall, and it didn't hurt, and it was literally, it was nothing. But you don't put your hand on another person, and you don't put your hand on a member of staff. And in that particular circumstance, as he was coming around the corner, what I should have done is notice that my colleague was walking away, but I didn't notice her because I was focused on him, and I was trying to explain to him, that his behavior wasn't, acceptable, and he was acting as if like it was other residents when they do it, because they do it a lot, he felt like he was being victimized. But I was trying to explain to him that no, I said, look, when this happens, I chase them around the building as well, when I shouldn't, but just bear that in mind. And what I should have done is turn away and just walk away. That's what I should have done. But he put his hand on me, and that's not acceptable. It didn't hurt. He didn't punch me. He just nudged me, right? Flat palm, it was nothing.
Right.
That was an issue. I mean, he threw his weight around after that, but he didn't hit anybody, and he had another go at me after. He mentioned someone's name. I said that he said, I recognize that name. That person used to live here, and he seemed to think that I was defending him, but all I did was say that he used to live here. He was very, very agitated, so I just let him get on with it, and he eventually went to bed or whatever. So there was the first one, and last night was the actual, what I considered to be far, far worse.
Right.
It wasn't violence. In fact, I wish it had been. I wish that somebody had punched me in the face compared to what happened.
Right.
So I may have mentioned that there's an individual who likes to latch on to people, and she's very similar to Shani.
Oh boy.
Yeah, in that, making excuses, blaming, mental health and stuff like that. And we've been having good banter and stuff, but last night that didn't fly. And it's not as if I said anything offensive or anything like that. I just imitated this person. And then, this person started going off on analogies and stuff like that. And I said, look, you shout excuse me at me when I walk past because you like to troll me. I said, you've literally explained this to me before. And this person was like, yeah, but what if X, what if Y, what if blah, blah, blah. And I said, have you ever heard of the story of the boy who cried wolf? And this person just didn't get it. Has never heard the story, which I find amazing. And the thing is with this person, Blood, is that this person has made false allegations in the past, and what type of allegation I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
and she's been latching on to me, and she does it to other people as well. It's not just me. I'm not special in this particular case.
And, sure you are. You're special.
You're special. And she'd been sending me emails. Like before I went on my like 12 days leave, she'd been bombarding me with emails, but all of those emails were positive. Now I can't respond to those emails, right? Because she's a female. And I'm also not her key worker either, right? So I've been taking screenshots of them and forwarding them on to her key worker and my manager to cover my ass, right? Because I knew about these false allegations, right? And she came to the office, she had a go and argued with me, and I couldn't explain it to her in a way that she would understand and stuff. And I was just like, right, I'm just going to ignore this now. I'm not being spoken to like this. And again, right? Because she kept going around in circles and circles and circles and whatever, right? So she fucked off eventually. And I look at my emails a couple of hours later, and there's an email. And in the email includes some screenshots of the doctor's appointment, because there was another problem with something to do with the doctors. But it was hard to decipher what the actual problem was. And I got to a part where it said, and this is the accusation, she said to me, "You're either a police informer or you're a nonce." Now, for those unaware and not versed in British slang, a nonce is a paedophile.
Oh.
And in my head, I went from 0 to 100 in my head. And I was just like, this, like, you know?
I bet.
Yeah. I was like, right, no, I'm not putting up with this. I spoke to my boss about this more. I said, look, I would rather be punched in the face by one of the big lads in here and let them get away with it than being called that.
Yeah, I get you.
Right, because that is the kind of shit that gets you out of your job and it ruins your life.
Right.
I'm not putting up with it, right? And she's done it before. And I was just like, right, I forwarded it onto my boss, and my boss went mental. And she was like, right. And what I was really impressed by with my boss is not only did she back me up and make me feel 1,000 times better about it,
right?
She allowed me to decide the fate of both of those residents.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. It's nice to be given power. When I felt, especially after feeling so goddamn powerless.
Alex has all the power.
Yeah. Now, I don't want either of them yeeted from the service. I really don't. I really genuinely don't. Like, and I said this to my boss. I said, look, the lad, look, I know you have to issue a warning. Like, there's no negotiation there. She has to do it.
Right.
But I said, I don't want him kicked out because he has mitigating circumstances. He has been, you know, he's not like a lot of the others. He's not come in with an addiction. He's come in and he came in pretty bad, but he's getting better and he's improving himself and he's trying to get better and he's trying to improve his life. Right.
Right.
And I've got to say that's very impressive. Right. However, it's a whole different thing. And the thing is that she's done some stuff recently to the other staff members.
Yeah.
That is unacceptable.
Yeah.
And my boss was like, right. She's like, I'm gonna put the fear of God into her. I'm like, you go do that then. You go. I agree. I was just like, I agree. Go do what you feel you need to.
Yeah. Real quick, hey Vanilla, and who else was it that jumped in here that I wanted to say hi to? Oh boy, the chat's jumped in. I lost my place. Oh, Clinton Whitaker. Yeah. But yeah, sounds like fun. Hey, Corey.
That's just the thing. Like, I remember speaking to Drunkle about my job, and he was like, "You should demand danger pay," because there is an element, right, of danger, because I had to like patrol outside the building, off the property, right? And I had been put in positions where I've had to ask people to get off the property, and they've gotten in my personal space, and they are drug addicts, you know?
Yeah. Well, as I recall, I told you pretty much the same thing when you were telling me about the job before you started.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like, but I would have preferred like a lad to have come out, had a problem with me over something stupid, and punched me square in the mouth.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Because being punched in the mouth, you know, you can deal with that. It's just, you know, I've got a bruise on my face. You know, I've bled a bit. I can clean it up. That's dealt with. The pain will disappear. You know, in a couple of hours' time. But that kind of shit, blood, is life destroying.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with my boy J Kid there. He said earlier that it doesn't sound like a job that he could do. I don't think I could either. Because the first time that somebody laid hands on me, you know, even if they bloodied my nose or my mouth, I would probably smile and say, "My turn." No,
here's the thing with my job, right? I can defend myself if it's on camera.
Right.
If it's not on camera,
shoot, man. Where I work, and I've made a decision not to talk too much about my new job today. I know I've done a lot of talking about it, but you know, it's still new to me. It's very life-changing, so excuse me if I talk about it some. There's no, it's not a very big place. I mean, you know, it's really not huge. And there are 8 cameras in that place. And it's really, you know, I could probably walk all the way across the the floor in, you know, 12 to 15 paces.
Yeah,
it's not that big, but there's nowhere you can hide.
Yeah, and we have new cameras being installed right now as well, so that makes me feel a lot better. A lot better.
I had a couple of instances. It was kind of similar. You know, it's a tobacco shop for those that don't know, and it is against state law. It might even be federal, but I know it's state law that anyone under 18 is not allowed on the premises. They're not allowed in there. No exceptions. It's the law. It's not the rule of the business. It's the law. We could get in a lot of trouble if we get caught with you in there. In fact, if someone comes in that looks like they might be 18 or younger, we have to immediately card them the second they come in the door.
Yeah.
But the other night, had a young girl come in, and she had a couple of kids with her, looked about 13 or so. And it was cold, and it was late at night, and it was cold. It was close to closing time. She come in, was buying, she bought a couple of cigars, for Pete's sake. But these 2 young kids come in the door, and I said, and to me, they had hoodies on. They look like boys to me. And I said, boys, you can't be in here. You'll have to leave. One of them says, "I'm not a boy, I'm a girl." I'm like,
oh no.
Okay, well, you still got to leave. And they stood outside the window mouthing off to me. Saying all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, okay, I don't need this. But she finally said, "Don't pay no attention to them." And she left, and they left with her. But last night, I had this guy, I was helping some customers, had a little bit of a line, was helping them. You know, now that I'm off training, I'm the only person on the premises. So the only person there to help you. And while I'm doing that, this huge mountain of a man come in. I mean, mountain of a man. Guy had to be at least 6'5", 6'6", and probably weighed 400 to 500 pounds. He was just huge. But in tow, he had this little girl about 8 years old. And I immediately said, "Sir, I'm sorry, but she can't be in here." He goes, "Well, what do you want me to do? Leave her in the truck?" And I'm like, "You know, I'm sorry about your situation, but she cannot be in here. It's against the law. She has to leave." And of course, he's getting madder and madder. I'm like, "Oh crap, this big bear of a guy is going to turn me into a pretzel." You know, because he could. I mean, he was just that big.
Yeah.
And he's mouthing off as he walks out the door. And then the guy in front of me that I was helping is like giving me that eye roll, like, oh, can you believe people? You know, right?
Yeah.
The guy pokes his head back in and says, you know, it might be good if you put that on the front door. And I said, sir, it is right there next to our hours. And there's a big sign, big white sign right next to where it lists our hours that says it is against the law for anyone 18 or under 18 to be on these premises. He'd look down at the sign and he didn't say anything. He left. Got his stuff, left. And I'm like, and I looked at the guy in front of me again. He goes, you know, you'd think it would just stand to reason that they can't be in here. I said, I know, right? Yeah, I was just like shaking my head about that. But most of the night I was distracted because I had two young guys come in their 20s, and I think they were trying to rip me off. I think they may have done it. I think they were trying to shoplift, because one kept trying to get me busy over here while the other one was doing other things. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they wanted to look at all our glassware. That's what we have to officially call it. But I'm talking about bongs, one hitters,
female. I'm reading something on my screen right now. What glassware?
Yeah.
Have a look at our glassware, darling.
So, and I told them once, it's behind a glass counter. We got a couple of, I said, you know, they said, well, can we go back there and look? I said, no, I can't have you back there. You know, it's against the rules. That's employee only. But, you know, I'll show you. If you want to see something, I'll take it out of the case and show it to you, whatever you want to see. And more customers come in. They said, well, go ahead and handle them. We'll just look around. I said, all right, well, I'll go handle them. And while I'm taking care of this customer, I look up and they're behind the counter. And I said, guys, I cannot have you back there.
Yeah.
You can't be back there, because there's cameras everywhere. And if they see you on the camera, and they do what down at, you know, I've mentioned before that the headquarters for where I worked is just down the street. And I am told on very good authority that they watch us real time often on the camera.
You said about that.
Yeah. And so if you get back there and they see it on camera, I could get in a lot of trouble. So I cannot have you back there. And they finally left. And I was just distracted with that all day, because I thought, you know, did they take anything while I wasn't looking? Because I got busy, you know, and it's just too hard to keep an eye on when you're by yourself on everything, you know.
Yeah.
And also focus on the person in front of you. But I was like, I told you guys, you can't be back there. Stop it.
Shocking.
People are, but this is the hood. I mean, this store is literally less than 2 minutes away from me. Yeah, a drive, and it's right here in my neighborhood, you know. So yeah, you're dealing with a lot of white trash rednecks.
Y'all need a sign on the front of your damn door.
There is a sign, sir,
that informs the public on the age range of this here store. I mean, excuse me, sir, but I think you'll find if you do a U-turn and take a look with your eyeballs, there is a sign out there, sir.
Yeah, he's like, as he's going out, well, I knew you couldn't sell to him, but I didn't think you did anything. Yeah, we can't sell to them, and we can't have them in here, because it's not just tobacco, because we have vapes, we have cigars, we have whatever kind of tobacco you can think of, the roll your own stuff, all the supplies for that. We have, but that is mostly because we sell the quote unquote glassware, you know, so they cannot be in there. They just can't be on the premises. They can't. And I was sorry for him. I got what he was saying. I wouldn't want to leave my kid in the truck either, but that gum, you know, don't take her with you if you're going to. He was heading for the cigars. And I was like, you know, don't take her with you if you're going to go buy a cigar, if you're afraid to leave her out in the car for a minute.
Yeah. For God's sake.
People are stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
It had we've got a regular customer, and he comes in almost right at closing every time, and he fills out little lottery slips. I don't know how they are over there, but over here they're just like long slips, and you fill in the dots, and you just run them through the machine, and it automatically gives them what they want.
Yeah.
He's filling out his lottery slips, and he's there late as usual, last night, and drunk as usual, because we are right next door to a bar. Real quick, thank you, Corey, for the donation. I used to work at a Center for Human Development and got a lot of what you're talking about, Bear. So yeah, Corey sounds like he knows.
Yeah.
But anyway, he even asked me, he goes, how late we getting? I don't want to hold you up. And I said, well, we got about 10 minutes to closing. He said, all right. So he's taking his time, and I'm looking up, and there's like, we're getting down to 4 minutes to closing, 3 minutes to closing. I'm walking around starting to turn off the lights to the glass cases.
Yeah.
He goes, so you want to get out of here? And I'm like, what was your first clue? I'm turning the lights out on you. What was your first clue?
You're circling this guy like a shark.
Yeah, I want to go home. I'm tired.
Get the fuck out.
I mean, you don't understand. Once I close that door behind you, I still got another 30 minutes of work to do before I can go home. I don't get to just go home when we close. But yeah, Mama Minnie says very literally, here's your sign moment. Yeah. I mean, it's just right there, clear, right next to where our hours are listed. I'm like, Jesus, do you not read?
Apparently not, mate.
But yeah. I make fun of it and stuff, but for the most part, I do like it. Although I had a bah humbug moment. It is Christmas time, and I walked in there yesterday. I don't like to just. I think you and I've had this discussion before. I don't like to just run into work and go right to work. I like to arrive early, take my time getting ready, sit down, have a cigarette, drink some coffee, whatever, get myself in working mode. I can't stand running into the last second. Never could. So I get there early as usual, and you can smoke in our establishment. And I was sitting there. That's another reason why the kids aren't allowed, because we are allowed to smoke in there. But I'm sitting there, and they've got all the Christmas decorations out. They put up the tree and all this stuff while I wasn't there. And I'm a bah humbug anyway. But one of my duties, before I can go home, is I have to sweep the place. It's all carpeted, and I have to get out the sweeper and sweep it. Oh my God, that tinsel was all over, and the sweeper didn't want to pick it up. I was cussing my boss so bad. Like, dang, making my life hard. I'm not a real big fan of sweeping anyway. But,
well, yeah. Because you're like me, aren't you? You're long in the body, aren't you?
Yeah. It's hard to do it without bending over, because I'm tall. And I mean, I'm not super tall. I'm 6 foot tall. I guess that's considered tall. I don't know. But I'm tall enough that I have to bend over to use the sweeper. Cussing his butt. Well, cursing her without using curse words, J-Kid. You know me. And who said, Angry Illinois, and time to lurk and play Rift. J-Kid and I used to play a lot of that game, Rift. It's a fun game.
I've reinstalled RimWorld.
I seen you talking about it on Twitch.
That game is something truly, it really is something special.
Yeah. I've never got too far. I do like it, and I still do play it occasionally.
It's like one of the only games that manages to work on your laptop, isn't it?
Yeah.
Donate to this man so we can get a bloody good computer.
Yeah, I'm still taking donations, people. Even though I'm back to work, it's only part-time, and it's not a lot per hour. For instance, next week, I'm only scheduled for 2 days. So, yeah, I'm not going to get rich off of working here.
Yes, open up your wallets and your bumholes, people.
Yeah. FabFit Gigi says I was looking at RimWorld. Looks like I would be hecking confused. It's a little confusing to start with.
It has a learning curve, but
It does have
it's
a
a
learning
different
curve.
kind of learning curve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
like,
all right.
Like learning to play the game, it doesn't take that long, but learning what can happen in the game could take weeks, and I'm not joking.
Yeah, there's a lot, and it's a very simple looking game, graphics wise. Be careful. Sorry, my wife was leaving to go pick up my daughter. But it doesn't look. It's not graphically fantastic. It's just very blocky, pixelated looking, but it's a very in depth, very involved game. And
yeah, it is.
I was playing it. You made a tweet earlier, something about some, mad squirrel ripping one of your people's eyes out. I had that happen.
Yeah, that's what literally everything that I said has happened to me in that game.
Yeah, it was just a mad squirrel, and it ran up and just tore the pieces out of one of my people. A squirrel! I'm like, yeah, like serious?
Let me explain it, Bloodwing. Let me explain it. Okay, so you could start a game, and you could choose 3 colonists. Now you can mess with their settings, basically. Before you go into the game, it gives you 3 colonists to choose from. You can, of course, reduce and increase that number depending on how you want to play. But the default is 3 colonists, and each one has like strengths and usually weaknesses. You can change those traits, those personal traits, to suit your play style or whatever crazy shit you want to see come out, because those traits will affect how they act when they land on the planet, and how they work with each other, and how they get on with specific jobs that you give to them. So you could start a game, as I said in my tweet, with a big, fat, blue-haired, anti-man feminist.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you could start also with an anti-woman incel, and who's like uber skinny, who hate each other and fight each other constantly, to the point where they injure each other on a regular basis, but also complain about not having social activity with each other.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Or you can have somebody that is totally absolute insane bonkers. That just do all, or a nudist.
Yeah.
Just want to run around, throw their clothes off, which will offend the other people. Yeah. When I'm starting a new game, because once you start a game, until you actually hit the start button, you can re-roll who your people are. And I will sit there and re-roll until I get at least one that's good at building.
Well, you can manually change it now, or it's either that or it's a mod. But you can set each individual colonist, their traits and how much skill they have in a particular tree, right? But the thing is, I've never gotten off the world. I've never gotten off the planet. The game is insane.
I've never even got close to getting off the world.
But I cheated like crazy. I downloaded mods so that I could manipulate everything that I needed, right? So I had the best builder, the best farmer, the best at cooking and making different materials and stuff, and it was in an area where you had good resources and very few chances of being attacked by raiders and crazy animals, because that also happens as well. They're like crazy animals, like the squirrel thing. Like one of my colonists had his eye ripped out, but I'll get to that, because he also had his leg ripped off by something else not long after.
Real quick, J Kid, I'm hearing thunder to the east of me again. He says, I, however, am a fantastic driver. And that's not true, boy. Unless fantastic means get from one stoplight to the next as fast as possible.
It's on Steam. It's called RimWorld, Clinton.
Yeah.
You could have a colonist who is like one of those people, you know how we get these weirdos now who are being like exposed by like Vox and stuff like that, like those people who want to be disabled. Like you could have a colonist that's like that wants to have their own limbs taken off and replaced with bionic parts, but you might not be able to do that because that's quite an advanced thing. So that and that kind of stress on them can, you know, adding onto the stress of other things, like because your colonists get stressed out by different things, like the building that you construct for them being dirty, or not having enough food or a variety of food, or being attacked by raiders and stuff like that, or having a bad social interaction, for example, because different colonists might have a pass at each other.
Yeah.
And they'll want to get married and stuff like that.
They can fall in love and all that stuff.
And if they get stressed, they will go crazy. And when they go crazy, they set fire to the colony.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying when they do that, because once a fire starts, it's hard to put it out, especially if it's near any of your electrical units, because if the fire gets near there and they blow up, they set everything else on fire. And then that room actually builds up heat and gets too hot, and the heat builds up and it ruins any food or resources you have in there, and the room basically melts and spreads.
Yeah.
Like you can tame animals in the game as well. You can feed animals. Like,
oh yeah,
Monkey was the best one when he told me about the game. He's like, Alex, or Bear, sorry, you know, going, I had this game last night, and it started off as 3 really excited, you know, colonists wanted to be enthusiastic and get off a world, but it turned into a really endearing story about one man looking after another male colonist whose eye and leg had been ripped off.
Yep.
And if you don't have the resources, you're fucked.
Yep.
Like the amount of random events and shit that can happen to you.
Oh, I've not only had the rabid squirrel attack my base. I had a rabid deer attack my base.
Oh no, yeah, I've been attacked by all the different animals they have in the game. You know the
and it wouldn't stop until I sent someone out to shoot it.
Yeah, you have to. If you're a crazy animal, you have to have a colonist go out and shoot them every single time. But the worst ones are the boomerlopes, because they're like giant rats, aren't they?
Right.
But they have chem fuel in their body, which is why and they blow up. Right. So the best thing to do is to tame them and milk them. You can milk these animals for fuel. You can also use them as a minefield, believe it or not. Like there is so much depth to the game, it is unfucking believable, and the mods are really good. You can start off in temperate zones, freezing zones, desert zones, all that kind of stuff. Each one has different challenges. Yeah, you know, and you have 2 ways of beating the game as well. There's only 2 ways to truly beat the game. One, you stay where you are and you build a big enough colony, you build defenses like machine gun turrets, that kind of stuff. You train your people, and you know, you build the best colony that you can, and you defend yourself until the point where you can build a rocket and get the fuck off the planet.
Yeah.
Or you can make them traverse the world. So you have to go from grid square to grid square. But the problem is you don't know what's in the next grid square.
No.
The last time I tried that, there was a tribe with a minigun.
Yep. Yeah.
And that was it. Gone.
Yeah. I was going to say it's not only the wild animals, but you know, you get this, you get these random traders from other tribes that will come in and trade with you, and maybe you can build a relationship with that tribe or what have you. But you also get raiders, hostile tribes that will try to wipe you out.
And you can capture them.
Yeah.
And you can torture them.
Put them in jail.
You can put them in jail, and you can execute them if you want to, or you can try to recruit them and have them as a part of your colony. And every so often, and it always makes me laugh, Bloodwing. I don't know, this is like just me being sadistic.
Uh-huh.
But you know, every so often you get like this random radio call, and it's a little prompt saying, "Oh, you can hear a woman screaming for help as she's being chased by a raider. If you choose to accept her into your colony, then you'll be attacked."
Yeah,
I like pressing no because then it comes up with the other prompt saying, and you could hear screaming in the distance.
Yep. RimWorld for me is one of those games that I love to hate. I love playing it, but it can be so frustrating.
Oh yeah,
it's so aggravating. I mean, you spend hours and hours and hours on building up your base and putting, building up the stats and stuff on your
on a colonist,
on your colonists, and then you get raided and it all gets wiped out, and you're like,
it's always one thing, and it just snowballs.
Yeah,
it might not even be a raider. Like, I made the mistake of thinking, that I could open up, because you get these ancient ruins usually on every map.
Yeah.
And when you go near them, you get this little kind of warning prompt, saying, oh, you don't feel right. But sometimes if you open them up, there's like good loot and stuff in there, like the crypto chambers, for example. But every so often, you'll open one of those up and you'll be attacked by a queen mecha bug. Or you'll open up the crypto things and they'll be filled to the brim full of poison gas, and they'll just kill whoever opened it up. And the lightning storms, and the worst thing to be hit by weather-wise in that game is radiation.
Hey, Pat.
I didn't even know radiation was a part of the game.
Yeah. And if your people get sick or injured or whatever, if you don't have a good healer or doctor on board and you don't have the supplies to heal them with, you're screwed, because all they do is just lay in bed.
Yeah. And they'll stay there until they get healed.
Yeah.
It's such the mods are really good as well. The mods are amazing for that.
I haven't played with any of the mods. Actually, the only game I play with mods on are Skyrim, and I keep it to a bare minimum on the mods I use there. And when I play Ark, and for that, again, bare minimum, I just use like the S Plus for building and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, it is one of those games. It's like, as I said, I was like, right, I'm gonna get off this planet. I'm actually gonna win it for once, right? Even if I have to cheat, and I cheated. I got a mod so I could manipulate the traits and statistics of each colonist, and I had a bunch of other mods as well where you could build like quarries and stuff like that, so you could get the resources that you need faster. And I was like, right. And I got so close. I got so far. That research tree takes a while to get up. Right?
Oh,
God. I was like just a few away from researching the rocket stuff. And guess what happened? One of my freezer units malfunctioned and blew up. And then it heated the room up. And one of my colonists was in there when it was superheated, and then died from that. And then the rest of them exploded, and all the food went bad, and all my resources were burnt, and then the rest of the colony burnt down.
And you actually have to build cemeteries too to bury these people that die.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah. Or there are alternatives, like if you have like a cannibal, because you can have a cannibal in your colony. They'll eat the person if you want them to.
Feed it to Mikey; he'll eat him.
Yeah.
Yeah. FabFit Geeky asked,
oh no, as soon as I saw her ask that, I was just
how
like,
is Ark? No. I've seen it. I personally really like the game. Alex, however, is on the other end of the spectrum. He really doesn't like it. So it depends on the individual. If you like survival games, you may like it. I really get into the taming aspect and breeding the animals for certain things, like for colors or for a certain stat. So yeah, J-Kid's right. It depends a lot on who you ask. It can be frustrating because it's not a very safe world. You're never safe, ever safe.
In some respects, like Ark and RimWorld both have that in common, don't they? Just you don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I can't count how many times I've been in an area that I thought I was relatively safe, and then some random T-Rex just comes out of the woodwork, literally out of the jungle, and eats me in one gulp. It's like crap. And then you got to run back and get all your stuff so that you don't lose it, because you've finally got good gear. And it has its downfalls. It's a little glitchy yet sometimes. The situations that always get me and make me want to pull my hair out is if I'm flying somewhere, because the best way to get across the map is on a flyer, either on a wyvern or an Argentavis or Pteranodon, whatever. My preference is the Argentavis, but anyway, you'd be flying along and you're over a huge body of water, and then the game crashes. So you know good and well when you log back in, you're going to still be over that body of water. But when your game crashes, you're no longer on your mount and you're falling and you fall into the water. So there's your bird stuck way up in the air and you're down in the water, which if you know Ark, you know that the water is the least safe place on the map because it's full of all kinds of things that want to eat you.
That's why I enjoy Subnautica so much.
And you're going to get eaten by the time you swim back to shore. So all your gear is going to float to the bottom of the ocean, and good luck getting that back. It can be very frustrating, but I love Ark. I personally love it. Alex, not so much, although,
I said I would give it another go.
Yeah, maybe he'll give it another go here and play with me, and if
you know what my problem is with the game.
Yeah,
you know what my problem is with the game. My problem is the user interface. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, once you get used to it, it's not so bad. Excuse me.
Hi, Eddie. How's it going, dude? Hope you're good, mate. Stardew Valley had a massive update recently. I want to play that as well.
Yeah, J-Kid says, well, that's not the game's fault. That's the other dino's fault, aka your laptop. And yeah, my laptop is a dinosaur, but not all the crashes are my laptop. Well, that's true. That's true. And I don't hide that fact. The one time you did play with me on Ark, you seen that my character, I made it look as old as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it a lot. I play a lot. I don't play a lot online anymore because if you play on a server with other people, it's a commitment because you have to go in even when you don't feel like playing. You have to go in and feed your animals so they don't starve to death and things like that. So it's a commitment. So I play a lot single player because I call it that Pokemon syndrome. I have to have them all. I see a dinosaur that I don't have, and I don't need it. I have absolutely no need for it, but I got to have it. In fact, I got to have both a male and female so that I can breed them. I got to have it. In fact, I just got and I can't pronounce the name. It starts with a CH, but it's these kind of horse, cow, monkey hybrid things. They're really huge and they can throw rocks at you. They're very grumpy. They don't like anything close to them.
Horse, cow, monkey.
Yeah, I'm not joking. Anybody out there in the chat that plays like functional knows exactly what I'm talking about. And they are a passive tame. You don't knock them out to tame them. You have to feed them something that they like. And what they like is beer.
There you go. They're actually like paddies, then, the Irish people.
Yeah, I'm not joking. You have to brew beer. Then you take this beer with you, and you put on your ghillie suit so that you're not standing out, so you can sneak up on them, and you got to sneak up behind them and shove beer in their butthole.
What?
And you got to keep doing that until they're tamed.
I'm opening my otaku box because it's been sat here for like a week and I haven't opened it yet. So
yeah, and there's Functional and Jen out there. They know exactly what critter I'm talking about. I finally got 2 of those tamed. Thank you, JT. That is the name. So pronounce that. Yeah.
My camera's turned off, isn't it? Let me have a look.
Chalcotherium.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're great for your base defense though. For range, because they can pull rocks up out of the ground and throw it at whatever attacks your base.
Albedo figurine. Best cow figurine. Shh! Don't tell anyone.
Okay, I won't. I have no idea what you're talking about, but
there's only a handful of people in the chat that will know exactly what I'm talking about, but shh, don't tell anyone. Yeah. Oh, bubble wrap. I love bubble wrap. Sorry.
J-Kid says beer in the butt is not something new, been happening for a while in frats around the world. Fraternities, yeah, probably.
Shh, don't stop talking about beer in the bumhole.
But yeah, whoever asked that question, I've already forgotten because I'm old. But whoever asked that question, it depends on who you ask. Personally, I really like Ark. And if you like survival, building games, whatever, you may like Ark. You may like it. But just be aware, it can be very frustrating, especially to start until you get to the point where you can build better weapons and better bases and stuff. Because you will die. You will die, and you will die a lot.
I also got a thermal cup.
Oh?
In my otaku box. It's high school DxD as well. And that's also for dirty weed perverts.
That freaking Japanese crap a map of stuff.
Oh, shush your face, you.
RVA Dart, that's because Alex is always distracted.
My meds are worn off. I have to reset myself between work and having my time off.
I have literally, this is the true story. I have literally been talking to privately with Alex, probably with Dax or someone else. And in the middle of a conversation, he'll go, "Ooh, squirrel."
Do you remember the first time I ever played 7 Days to Die, for example, when it was on a live stream with Monkey and Satsu?
How can I forget? I was there.
I got my hands on a chainsaw.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like that's all I needed.
Yeah. He was off around the map chainsawing everything in sight.
I made a pig explode by chainsawing it.
Yeah.
I was seeing what happens when you chainsaw things.
Yeah.
I was
How could I forget, Alex? I was there. Remember? It was my first time too.
Like a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Sion. Cool.
Yeah.
This month's Otaku box was much better than last month. Last month's was an abomination unto itself. So.
Yeah, J-Kid was there too. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was given a chainsaw. And it was like, Bear, go get wood. And I went, okay, I'll go get some wood. And then
go get wood.
Hey. And I started chopping down trees and I was like, hold on a second. What else can I do? And I was going, yeah. I don't think anyone could hear themselves, could they? Because I just kept shouting that over and over and over. I get excited, like really excited about
playing
things.
7 Days to Die with Alex is fun anyway, or funny. Not for Alex, but for the rest of us, because he'll be talking and just be even tone, just be talking as he is now. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, oh! Am I lying? Am I lying?
You're not lying, though.
No, I'm not lying. And I know
well, no, because the game appeals to my autism, right?
Yeah.
And I get in a hole and I start digging the hole. You know, I'm like, right, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be our horde, tower or base or whatever, and we're gonna kick their asses. And I go into the zone, right? And there aren't many things that I can actually focus on. There aren't many things I can actually focus on properly, right? Unless I have my meds in my system, and I can actually focus on that. Even like something as mundane as digging a fucking hole, right?
Yeah. And
I'm in the zone, and I'm there, just digging away. Yeah. Trying to make it balance. Making sure it's nice and even. And then a zombie will come up from behind me, or a pack of dogs, and I go from like 0 to 100 and freaked out, and
yeah, he does. And now I know that our last session trying to play it was not fun for me or you to listen to me complain.
Well, to be fair, mate, like updates and stuff like that.
But I have been thinking about retrying it, trying to see if I can fiddle with my settings and get it a little closer to playable for me.
I'm getting to that point where I just don't want to touch it for a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to play RimWorld and Stardew Valley because Stardew Valley's had a massive update, and I also want to play RimWorld again.
Yeah, and I do that all the time. I'll leave a game alone for a while and come back to it later. You know.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
It helps me not get tired of it, you know, and not want to play it at all.
I've got a bunch of games that I've bought recently, like in the last month or so, that I haven't even played yet.
Yeah.
Or I've played an hour of, and I've not been doing it because I've been uber focused on trying to keep up with anime. I've not watched anime in 2.5 weeks.
Oh Lord, is your head gonna explode?
You don't understand.
Is your head gonna explode?
Yeah, it is.
I was actually reminded of you recently.
That's not
good. Well, you know, I've mentioned before when I work on the days that I work, when I come home, I'm just dead tired and I'm apt to just stare at the wall, just stare into the nothingness, you know, because I'm so tired. And so instead of just staring, I've been watching this series that's on Netflix called The Toys That Made Us. And they go back through all these iconic toys like Legos and, you know, Transformers. And I watched one last night that was on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it's very interesting. I find it very interesting. But I watched an episode that was all about Hello Kitty. Yeah. And I thought about you as I was watching.
Why?
Well, you know, there's that whole Japanese culture thing. And what is it they call it? Not a taco, but it means cute.
Weeaboo. Fucking hell.
It not only means cute, it means like beyond
kawaii.
Kawaii. And they actually had people on there doing that, putting their fingers to their cheeks and going, kawaii. I'm like, oh my God.
Kawaii desu.
I'm gonna
Konnichiwa.
I'm gonna spew.
Bloodwing-san. Bloodwing senpai.
Yeah, I'm going to spew. That was a tough episode for me to get through, but I did watch it. Yeah. Kawaii. Kawaii. These are grown adults doing this. I'm like,
It's the culture.
What's wrong with you people?
Some people look at your culture and go, ugh.
Well, of course, and I understand that. I mean, we invented the term "hold my beer."
I do enjoy watching redneck compilations on YouTube, though.
Yeah. Speaking of compilation, funny you brought that up. I have been thinking, you know, we just finished episode 20 of Redneck Track, and I have been thinking about for episode 25 of making a compilation of all the best moments from Redneck Trek up to that moment to celebrate the 25th episode.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it. So that might be in the works, folks.
You're also thinking about having me play a character in it.
Yeah. Well, you know,
before you started.
Yeah, things happen, and I got back to work, and the episodes were few and far between, and I still haven't forgot that. I still have not forgot it. But we both went back to work, and shoot, we barely spoke to each other last month.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get that worked out. Brian King says, "Senpai, please notice me." Look, people, it's no secret that I do not like anime. I have no inclination towards Japanese culture whatsoever, and I'm too big of a humbug and a grump for that junk. I'm the kind of person. I had a cousin. Well, she was a cousin by marriage, and he's no longer married to her. But I had a cousin, and nothing wrong with this girl, but she was the kind of woman that was always just excited all the time and just hug on you and everything. And J-Kid and I are like, get the heck away from me. Don't touch me. It was just, she was just so upbeat all the time and so optimistic. It was just sickening. Like, go away.
I'm disappointed, J-Kid, because I enjoy voice acting, even if it is for the old man.
Yeah. We'll get it done one of these days.
Get it done.
I still have, I have not forgot my idea. It's still in my brain, and we're still gonna do it when we can both get on a more even schedule and get our real lives worked out.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, like, between trying to, find time to chill, balance time with the kids and the missus, and doing YouTube as well. Like the videos I've been making lately, man, they have been a bit time consuming, shall we say.
You've been watching me too much. That's what it was.
Well, no, that's a different story altogether. There,
60-minute videos.
Well, the thing is that what blubbing is referring to is one of my specific videos in which somebody had a go at me for speaking too slowly. But the content I've been doing more recently have been long, not because I've been speaking slowly in them, but because they are massive. The last couple of videos I've been making have been huge in terms of research and ground to cover. Fab, who's in the chat there, knows she was collaborated with me on the most recent one. That shit. What took 5 or 6 days to research, record, write, and get edited.
Yeah.
Like her bit wasn't even that long, and it took her a while to do her bit.
Yeah.
Of
course, you are no newcomer to this stream. Like I said, you were here from the very beginning, episode 1. And you know how it works. At some point, the old man's got to go to the bathroom. We are now at that point.
Yeah, it means I get to talk without being interrupted by the old bastard.
Anyway, if you would talk to the chat for a minute, I shall be right back.
I will talk to the chat for a minute. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all well and having a wonderful week. It is Thursday today, isn't it? I lose track of time. Fuck you, Lindsay. You make the fucking sandwiches, bitch. You're the one with the vagina. Jesus Christ. Fucking, you need to learn your place. Someone needs to bitch slap you. So what's been going on, people? It's not Friday, it's Thursday. I'm sure it's Thursday anyway. He has been cussing up quite a bit. So he has, hasn't he, J-Kid? He has. He's been uber rude, in fact. Hello, sister. I hope you're well. I hope you're good. He has a lot to say. I think he gets like me though. If he can't get it out of himself, doesn't have that that kind of conduit in which to express himself for a period of time, he can't stop. He's like a pack of Pringles, once he pops, he can't stop, except like his is half full or half empty, depending on the day, obviously. But yeah, I do have another fucking Who Forever video to make in my time off. I'm quite fortunate in that I have an extra day off. I didn't do my full 4 night shifts, so I've got like 5 off. Obviously, the first day off that I get is not a day off, right? Because at the end of the day, I may be off now, but I was in work this morning. I didn't leave until 8:10 this morning, doing the handover and whatnot. So like the first day is not a day off. You know what I mean? Like tomorrow, when I've had a good sleep and I can get my medication back into my system, that's when I'm back at it. That's when I'm in the game again. That's when I'm got my time off. And I'm going to attempt to make a video on Heaven's Gate. But I've done a little bit of research already. and I was going around grabbing links and that kind of stuff. I mean, I have all the links and videos and articles and stuff that I need for the video editing and for the research. But I noticed that there was a lady whose entire YouTube channel is based around true crime, cults, and serial killers. She had 3 videos dedicated to Heaven's Gate, and it was a 3-part series. And that is a lot. Like, that is a lot, isn't it? Like, if and each video was at least an hour long, there is no fucking way in hell that I'm going to be able to do that. So I'm going to do one video, and I'm going to have to try to get in as much information as possible. And I don't want the video to be that long. Like, the optimal length of a video, a YouTube video, is somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes, right? I mean, I don't mind making it longer, because I have a few videos that are, you know, within the 1 hour range, you know, just a little bit less, a little bit more. But
I have 1 or 2 that are that long.
Yeah, because you talk slowly. You fucking slow bastard.
True. It's true. I don't so much on this stream or on Redneck Track, but when I was doing that kind of content all the time, I spoke pretty slow.
We know. You big shit bag, you. Is it Stephanie Harlow? I mean, no, hold on. I have a specific research Discord that I actually set up for a series that I was going to do, but aren't going to do. I'm not going to do now until the shit's over. But it's going to be used for. Yeah, there's Stephanie Harlow. Yeah, Stephanie Harlow. Like, obviously, I have grabbed some YouTubers' videos, but it's not for me to, you know, plagiarize. I'm not going to plagiarize them. I'm not going to copy them. I'm going to make it my own. I just need to see how other content creators have done it, because I never created a true crime video. And I'm certainly not watching all 3 of her bloody videos either. I was very lucky in the way that a few of my subscribers told me about there are actual YouTubers who live stream on a regular basis who were a part of the cult. And they don't mind talking about it, and they don't mind being reached out to about it. So I may have to do that. But it's not what I'd ideally like to do. Ideally, I'd like to do something similar to Stephanie Harlow, in that it's split into several pieces, and I can get interviews and that kind of stuff, because there are people out there willing to talk about it. But I don't have the time. So instead, I'm just going to make it look as pretty and as interesting and as atmospheric as I can, whilst also being informative.
Oh, sorry, I was just reading what my...
You're just huffing and puffing at what I'm saying.
Like... No. I was just reading what my son had to say. Talks too slow and too much. I think that's why I am not much of a talker. Yeah. It depends, and you know it. Sometimes I can get very quiet. It just depends on the situation.
Well, we need to find out what that situation is and make it so.
Tick me off and you'll find out.
I have pissed you off before.
Yeah.
I
think that was more frustrated than PO'd. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm a very frustrating person. like Fab in the chat there. She's got the goddamn patience of a saint. I swear to God.
Devil Fruit Zero asked, "What game were you talking about before?" Well, we talked about a couple of them, but I think maybe what you're looking for is RimWorld.
And Lindsay, I feel you. Honestly, like, especially with my big 1 hour and 20 minute video that I had the other day. Like, don't get me wrong, the research and the actual research, the meat, that took long enough as it was anyway. But like, sitting there and trying to find the music that is suitable to the scene that you're trying to set, it's just like, oh, that shit. Is this royalty free? Oh, it's not fucking royalty free. You know, it's the video production can take a little while. I don't have the amount of time that I'd like. Is what I'm saying, to produce the content that I'd like to produce. That said, I spent maybe 4 hours on one of my night shifts. I think it may have been the first one, speaking to another YouTube creator about a project that I want to do. That would be very similar to Break Me, which was my psychopath split personality thing. And we spent a long time fleshing out the two characters that we want to play for that. A long time. But it's looking like that we'd be able to get that done sooner rather than later. But our time zones are a pain in the friggin' ass.
Yeah. Lindsay says exactly how Alex. You also have to edit the video on top of that, which takes time too. And for me, that's the longest part. I'm not the world's fastest editor. It takes me a while to edit.
For me, it has been. I like to think that I'm a half decent editor. Not the best in the world, but a fairly decent one. And Vegas likes to crash.
Yeah, I think I'm getting better at. I think I'm getting better at editing. Redneck Trek has kind of helped me with that. Gave me practice, but I am very slow about it. It takes me a while.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm a kind of a perfectionist, so I try to get everything as best as I'm able to do.
Yeah. I feel you. I certainly feel you on that.
Yeah.
Oh, there is something I'd like to moan about.
Okay.
Alex whinging about something. Shocker.
Moan away. Moan away.
And what's funny is I wasn't even there for it. So when I got up, Vanilla Bear, my missus, told me about something that happened today. So as you know, it's the general election in the UK coming up in the next week. It's going to be on the 12th. So the political parties are campaigning like crazy. We've had loads of shit through the door. All the campaign leaflets and that shit. I know over stateside, like you get like text messages from your local potential new governor and stuff like that. But over here, we get bombarded with friggin' leaflets, which always amuses me because there's always that one party whose main like mandate is climate change, but they didn't send paper through the friggin' through the post. They sent that kind of weird plasticky material, like plastic coated paper, the stuff that's not recyclable.
We get that too on top of the texts.
Yeah. Well, today apparently the Labour Party, which is the main left-wing party in the UK, the equivalent to your Democrats, right?
Right.
They were outside my youngest school campaigning, which I wouldn't mind if they were on the other side of the road, because, and that's not me saying, oh, they should get the fuck away. That's me saying the path around my son's school isn't big at all, right? And there's not a great deal of room. And as you can imagine, when it's school pickup time, like the road's a little bit more dangerous because, cars are piling in, they're piling out again. And they're blocking that thin path. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be doing that outside of school. And not just that, like, one of the campaigners had one of their kids with them. And I don't think that if you're going out campaigning for a political party, that it's a good idea to have one of your children with you. Because there's always going to be someone who gets really mad that you're there.
Yeah.
Whether it's somebody who just doesn't give a shit and thinks all politics and politicians is dog shit and corrupt, or somebody who's on the other side of the fence who gets uber mad. Like, I don't think if you're going to go out campaigning, you should have your kid with you. I think, you're putting yourself and your kid in harm's way there, Yeah. But they were there campaigning away and they got in Vanilla Bear's way. My missus may be short, but she has that Hmong strength.
Yeah.
Don't get in my missus' way. She's abnormally strong for her size. It's never a good idea to get in her way. And she immediately gobbed off at them, and they moved out the way. It's a good thing that it wasn't me that was there today, because I would have stopped and I would have argued the toss with them, and I would have pointed out like how their party's full of bullies and anti-Semites. You know,
Yeah.
and VB is feisty. She's ginger, dude, and she's a midget. She's short, you know. Of course
A
she's
ginger
feisty.
midget.
Yeah.
And we would have been reading about Alex or hearing about Alex. Where's Alex at? Well, he's in jail.
Yeah, or the hospital. I don't know. But yeah, if it'd been me today, like I would have taken them on in terms of, you know, ideology, because I can't help it. You know, well, if I see that shit, I have to go talk to them. I'm one of those annoying assholes, you know. I'm like, so what's on the mandate this year then, ladies? You know, and then I would have pointed out how terrible their party is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they got in my way, I'd be angry and probably blow the horn at them and tell them move. But otherwise, I just roll my eyes, shake my head, and move on. Like, don't bother me.
I just don't think that's a good idea. You know, having your kid with you.
Yeah, I'm a believer in leaving kids out of your politics, and that goes for left or right. I don't care what your politics is; leave the kids out of it.
Yeah, agreed. Don't use your kids as political pawns. I mean, I don't think they were using their kid as a political pawn. Vanilla Bear said all the campaigners were women.
Yeah.
You know, so like, you know, some of them are going to be professional women that have to pick their kids up, you know, or could be single mothers. You never know. And they had their kid with them. But I don't think that that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good day out for a child.
No, probably not. Of course, I don't know what the weather's like this time of year for you all, but around here it'd be a bit cold for him to be standing outside.
It's not your level cold, but it is cold. Like, you know, a child's going to feel it quickly.
Yeah.
You know, it's cold enough for that. You know, especially if there's a bit of wind as well, because it's always the wind that really gets you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty windy here the other day. It was otherwise it was nice. The sun was out shining and it was really pretty, but you stepped out and the wind was just, oh my gosh, cut through you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like kids don't do well in that kind of weather, especially kids. And you don't want to be stood there with your kid. They're gonna be moaning constantly, like, "Mama, I want to go home."
Yeah, you know, I don't understand it. We have this older guy that comes in our store, you know, about once or twice a week to buy cigarettes. And he comes with about 4 kids in tow. I mean, little kids, you know, and they're pounding on the windows and jiggling the door and kicking it, just making a huge nuisance of themselves. But, you know, he has to leave them outside. I'm like, dude, if your smokes are that important, I wouldn't drag them kids out to go buy me some cigarettes. Come on.
Yeah. Should have bought enough earlier.
Yeah. But, you know, and it's after dark by the time he gets there. And so that makes it worse. I'm like, I don't understand people. I don't.
I feel you.
But yeah,
it's frustrating stuff.
It's not been too bad here, but it has been windy. And we've had a few days that have got down around freezing so that it spits a rain and snow mix, you know, kind of thing. So, yeah.
It annoys me that the Labour Party were there as well, in particular. I mean, obviously the Conservatives aren't going to turn up because the Conservatives... I live in a Conservative stronghold, but the specific area that I live in is very, very Labour red. So you're not going to get Conservatives down here because people would tell them to piss off. You know, it's very, very, very working class area that I live in. You know, they're going to be uber aggressive with Conservatives, so that they would go to the other areas in my constituency. But you piss off with your Labour bullshit as well.
Yeah. Well, my city's kind of odd in that the state itself is red, which here in the States that means conservative. It's a very red state. The city has a Democratic mayor, but the Democrats here are kind of different than the Democrats in other places in that they're more moderate. So we all kind of get along. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. you don't hear in Indy, you really don't see too much of the Democrats versus Republicans kind of thing, because the Republicans and the Democrats both seem to be more moderate, so they're closer to one another, toward the center. But
have you seen YouTube Rewind yet?
I have not. I heard it was out, but I haven't watched it yet.
I have watched it.
After last year's fiasco, I'm not sure I want to.
Okay, so I'll give you my opinion without trying to spoil it too much. Not that there's anything to friggin' spoil. It's YouTube Rewind, but
right.
So YouTube has obviously taken a look at what does well on the platform, and they've effectively turned YouTube Rewind into a top 10 video.
Yeah.
Is what they did. It was basically a top 10 video of various different genres and categories and things like that. They also congratulated certain YouTubers in some regions for reaching subscriber and view counts and stuff like that. This person's now the new top Spanish speaking YouTube channel, and this one is the first Korean channel to reach 10 million subscribers, and they obviously congratulated T-Series as well.
Right.
But they actually had actual YouTubers in it that people have heard of this year. But it was a top 10 video pretty much. And they did include some scumbag YouTubers as well. Memology shared it to his community tab. I don't know the chick's name, but she's like a massive copyright abuser as well when she was in the video. But it was a top 10 video, mate. Like, I could have made that video,
Well, it sounds like something even I could make.
Yeah. It was okay. It was better than last year. But not by a lot. Oh dear.
Sheagrath is asking, was Tourette's team there?
Not I doubt it. I don't know. It skips through people all the time. So I'm watching it again. Go watch it. Instead of asking me, go watch it, dude. Just go see.
Speaking of, when I was looking, I hadn't looked for a while, but I was looking through my content to see if there were any yellow, symbols
of doom.
Yeah. And Redneck Trek is pretty much good. They don't mess with it, thankfully. Unless I try to sneak in some copyrighted music, and then I got it coming. I expected that. But I was looking at my live streams, and every one of them were completely demonetized. Not the yellow symbol, just turned off.
Oh.
And
is that because you haven't set your channel properly yet?
I finally did go in and set all my stuff to know this channel is not directed at children. I did that. But no, it was just completely turned off, and I do not remember doing that at all. So I'm thinking that maybe YouTube turned it on. I turned it back on.
Well, yeah.
Like, if you're going to demonetize me, you're going to have to work for it.
Well, yeah, that's right.
So,
and rightly so.
Yeah, it was kind of odd. I was looking, I'm like, what are all these black symbols? I didn't turn that off. Are you kidding me?
One of my videos has been doing really well recently, actually. I didn't even know.
Huh.
25,000 views. That's really good.
You really kid good. Would have never guessed this wasn't a kid's channel. Yeah. Yeah. But I did go through, and I did do that COPPA thing. I went through and I set my whole channel as being not directed towards children. And the last Redneck Trek that I uploaded, and it forced me to upload it on the new dashboard, whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Not a fan at all.
I'm getting used to it now.
Oh, I can get used to it, but I'm not a fan of it. Didn't much care for it, but I said
it's very
it is
slow.
Something. It is, and it was slow enough to begin with. But I think my last Redneck Trek episode was around 40 minutes, and it took a good 2 hours to upload.
Oof.
I'm like, geez, and it's not my connection because I do have a good internet connection. It's just good grief. But yeah.
Oh, what else has been going on, dude?
Oh, same old, you know, just trying to survive. I did try. I was going to go record earlier today when I got up and got back home from taking my granddaughters to school. I was going to try to record footage for my next Redneck Trek so I could be sure to have it ready for Sunday to get back on track.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you know, as soon as I logged in, I get a message that they are down for the next 2 hours for maintenance.
Shocker.
So, yeah.
It is what it is.
Couldn't do that. And here I was, I'd already had some ideas. Okay, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to record. You know, had my ideas all in line, and couldn't do it. So I'll do that tonight sometime before I go to bed. But yeah, there's that. And of course, like I said, I noticed that my views were up on Redneck Trek by a third. Which really tickled me. I like that. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And yeah, if you're not watching it, why not?
Yeah.
Why aren't you watching it? And if you're worried about, well, I don't really like Star Trek. Well, that's good because it's not about Star Trek. It just happens to occur in the Star Trek universe. It's all about this really moronic redneck that makes all kinds of goofs and mistakes. He's really an idiot, but somehow at the end of the day, he still ends up beating the bad guy somehow.
Just about.
Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah.
Devil Fruit Zero who said it? No, it's number one mentioning is more ads. Yeah, it's a thing that YouTube has been doing. They need to do it, otherwise they're gonna go even more in the red. You know, with things like copper. I mean, just before copper came in, YouTube was talking about, you know, applying a bit of common sense to monetization. You know, like if you're getting demonetized and you're creating edgier content, then there is a lot of advertisers out there that want their ads on that content. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you know, it's stupid to think that there isn't. You know, you like movies trailers, for example, are going to want to, like, if it's like an 18 and over horror movie, it's going to want to be on edgier content because that's the friggin' audience. And now that copper's around, they have to. There's no getting around it now. They have to give more and more people more ads, you know? So it wouldn't surprise me whether they were lowering their standards for demonetization. And even if you do get hit by the yellow symbol, you're still going to, like before, even if you got hit with the yellow symbol, you still would have the odd ad. But even if you got like a shit ton of views, you most likely didn't earn from it. You maybe earned like $1 if you were lucky, you know. And I'm being generous with the dollar if I'm honest, right? Yeah. But now a yellow symbol is not going to be as much of a death sentence for a video as it was before.
Yeah, I've thought about adding more ads to my Redneck Trek just to maybe make a little more coin, because folks, we don't make that much off the ads. We really don't. Just a few cents sometimes. It's really about all you get.
It really depends on the video. I've been doing okay recently, but not amazing.
But I know that how much is too much, you have to figure out, because I've watched some videos or attempted to watch videos that it seems like they've got an ad every couple of minutes, and I can't do that.
That's what Amberlynn Reed does, mate. She knows to upload a video that's over 10 minutes long, and she puts in an ad every 2 minutes.
I can't make it through a video like that. I'll turn it off. Like, nope, that's too much. It's too much. It's annoying.
Yeah, it's stupid, really. I mean, I remember listening to a Colossal is Crazy a few years back, and he had a good point. Say, like, if you make a video that's I don't know, 20 minutes long, for example. Like, have an ad. Obviously, you're always going to have an ad at the start of the video. Like, you don't, a YouTube creator doesn't get a choice of that. But if the video is longer than 10 minutes, a creator can add more. As you know, the mid-roll ads, right? And like, you should do it after the 5th minute or 5th or 7th, and then not have it again for another 7 minutes at the least.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If I added more ads, this is what because an average episode of Redneck Track, some have been shorter, some have been a little longer, but the average is about 35 to 40 minutes. That's on average.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about maybe just adding one more ad, in the middle, right in the middle, because YouTube will automatically add one to the beginning and one to the end.
Yeah. That's also a new thing YouTube started doing, actually. Yeah. If your video is under 10 minutes long, they'll still have a video, an ad at the end of it.
And I thought, well, maybe they can put up with just one more ad just right in the middle, as long as it's placed right.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it. That's one thing I appreciate about Neebs Gaming. If you notice, they place their ads at just the right time at a scene change.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I learned from The Right Opinion. I did it on my last video. I spent the extra time and I went through my video because there's like a little player in it,
right?
And you can play it. And I was just trying to find the right spot between the transitions and trying to place the ads in there.
Yeah, because it just drives me nuts for an ad to pop in right in the middle of somebody saying something.
Yeah,
they don't even finish their sentence, and here's an ad. It just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be no more than that if I did. I'm still playing with the idea, and not that it would make that much difference. Like I said, I really don't make a lot off the ads. I really don't. Thus, why so many of us creators have to depend on Streamlabs and Super Chats to make a little bit of money.
Yeah, that annoys me.
It's not that we like doing that, because I personally don't. I know Alex doesn't, but we've almost given no choice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a much better place now. I mean, obviously, I'm working.
Yeah,
I mean, that was the whole reason. Well, one of the many reasons why I got a job in the fucking first place. Like, instead of trying to still make YouTube my dream job, started being more of a realist and started looking for work and things like that. And like not really enjoying being like a stay-at-home dad and stuff, but
yeah, I get you.
But I still like doing YouTube, and I've been doing okay with YouTube as well in terms of ad revenue. Not amazing, but I have been doing okay. So,
Devil Fruit Zero asked me what I think of the 5+ minute ads. If they're skippable, I'm fine with them. But it's when you get those, and it's not often, but I have got ads that are more than 5 minutes long, and you can't skip them.
Yeah,
that's stupid.
I always get those ones as well when I'm driving.
Yep.
And I can't skip.
Yep.
I've gotten 15-minute ads before that were just ridiculous. And you couldn't skip them.
Yep.
So you had to basically refresh the bloody video.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, well, sorry, mate, but yeah, I'm all for supporting creators and watching the full 30 seconds of an ad, but I'm not watching 15 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like right now with StreamYards, rather, not Streamlabs, StreamYard. You were late to the stream. I don't know if you heard, but I got an email that they're going to start limiting people that are on the free account to 20 hours of streaming a month.
Oh, that's them trying to obviously make money.
Yeah. And I don't mind paying for something that I consider a good service or a good application. And I do think that StreamYards is. My problem is I don't have the money right now.
Yeah.
And they did offer me a good deal. They absolutely offered me a significant discount to jump on board, but I almost did it. I mean, I actually had my mouse hovering over the OK button, to do it. But I thought about it, and I just can't, not right now. It's not going to make that much difference, because with me working, I figured it up and done the math, and that 20 hours a month would have been just 2 less streams than what I was doing when I was going full bore, three streams a week. So
Yeah.
not that big a deal. And with we working, I'm missing more than 2 streams a month for what I used to do anyway. So, but you know, I don't mind paying for something that I enjoy. It's not that. It's just I just don't have it.
No, I feel you do. I feel you, and it is annoying as well.
Yeah,
it is annoying for something that was free.
Yeah, you know? Well, they'll still offer free. It's just that it's going to be more limited.
Yeah,
and I get that. It takes money to run such a thing. You know, I get that. I get it.
Especially with more and more people using it now as well.
Oh well, yeah. I don't think that they even had any idea how many people were going to be come on board. You know. When Hangouts ended. So,
yeah, I imagine the amount of users is skyrocketed somewhat.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. And don't get me wrong, I am not complaining about StreamYards because I'm still a supporter. I still love the application, and I think they have great customer service and all that. I just can't afford to pay for it yet. If I get to the point where I can, I absolutely will. Because there are a few more perks that you get that I would enjoy having, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I like listening to. I have the YouTube Music app on my phone, and I connect that via Bluetooth in my car, and I listen to it when I'm in the car driving, like driving to work, driving home from work, driving to pick the kids up, and that kind of stuff. But the ads on these songs, some of them are quite big, you know. Some of them are quite long, and I can't skip them, you know, because I'm driving.
Right.
You know, and there's always an ad before, and there's usually an ad right after the song, and then there's an ad at the start of the next song. And songs, you know, the average song is like 3 minutes long, so you're getting like friggin' like 6 ads.
Yeah,
inside 10 minutes of listening. You know,
5 minutes
like, piss off.
5 minutes of ads for 3 minutes of music.
Yeah, it's like I know they're trying to get you to join. It's not YouTube Red anymore, is it? What's it called? Is it YouTube Premium?
Yeah. It pops up on me at least twice a day.
Yeah, you get hammered with that as well all the friggin' time because YouTube has their own ads.
Yeah,
you know, and I'm fairly sure you don't get friggin' paid for those.
Nope.
So I'm not paying for it.
Nope. No, I'm not. And a bit of good news. Last stream I mentioned the music reaction channel that I follow, that I really like his channel, and he was letting the COPPA thing scare him. So he had come out with a video and said, "I'm leaving YouTube. I'm deleting all my videos and shutting the channel down. I can't risk it," kind of thing. And I left him a comment saying, "I think, you know, maybe you're overreacting a bit, because I've done a lot of research into it, and the best I can figure out, as long as you're setting your channel as not directed toward kids," he kept saying kid friendly. No, it's not so much kid friendly. Is it targeted at kids?
Yeah. I saw some people saying things like that, and I was just like, shut up.
You know,
shut up, mate. You're talking at your fucking ass. It's got nothing to do with being kid friendly. See, this is what I mean. It happens every fucking time.
Yeah. You get people that overreact, but I like this guy. I really like his content, and he seems like a genuinely nice person. But anyway, after that, he came out with a video. I haven't watched it yet, so he hasn't explained it, but he put out a new video today. So I'm hoping that maybe he's changed his mind.
Yeah, because he realized he was being an overreactive twat.
Yeah. And this wasn't exactly, I mean, in the scheme of things, it's a small channel, but compared to mine, it wasn't. He's got like 30,000 subscribers, something like that.
Yeah.
Man,
well, I remember when people were like, "Oh that's it. YouTube's dead. It's the end of it's the end of YouTube. My channel's dead." No. Stop. Slow down. I know that you like to do this whenever YouTube introduces something new, but it's nothing to do with being kid friendly. You fucking spurg. Calm down.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's specifically, and you know what I'm talking about. When you put up a video, you've got to opt out. It forces you to say whether it's directed towards kids or not. And that's the wording it uses, at least here in America, is this video directed at children?
Mm-hmm.
And you just say no.
Yeah.
And you're good.
Yeah, that's it. That's literally it. Like my entire channel's set to that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it always likes to remind me to do it again on the video, but I don't need to do it again on the video because when I go through the upload process, it's already done because that's the default. But I have to make sure, obviously, just in case.
Right.
But yeah, shocker. I've not been sued yet.
Me either. Of course, if they did, you know, there's the old saying, you can't get blood out of a turnip. So
yeah, good luck, mate. I'm skinned in a minute. Yeah.
Get in line. Get in line.
So I hope you're willing to spend more money on suing my British ass.
Yeah. I mean, I got a phone call yesterday while I was at work from my surgeon, and I had a appointment to see them next week as a follow-up. You know, you're supposed to follow up every 6 months. And they were canceling my appointment because I owe them money. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'd like to pay you, but I can't right now. And especially not at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we're going to have to postpone that.
Christmas is always a tough time for money.
Yeah.
It always is. I love how my fridge broke along with my washing machine and my dryer.
Wow. When it rains, it pours.
Yeah. I'm the walking embodiment of Murphy's Law, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Luckily, though, I only had to pay for the fridge, but the fridge itself, as I said, you know, I could have bought a second-hand one, but I needed to get a decent one and refill it, you know?
Well,
the 300 quid for the bloody fridge, 200 quid for like refilling the freezer and the fridge and making sure that we had enough food,
right,
and stuff, you know, to last. I mean, to be fair, I didn't need to spend like 200 quid on the food, but like I could have made some cuts there, but not as much as I could have. Like I don't think I think I could have made a cut 50 quid out of that, but I'd still be skint now.
You went to the store hungry, didn't you?
No, I wasn't actually. I have made that mistake. I have done that, and I've done that this month.
Yeah, never go to the store hungry.
But no, it wasn't that. It was more of a we need to refill the refrigerator, you know, because we had to throw everything out.
Yeah,
everything in the freezer.
You're probably better off with a new one anyway. I mean, and this comes from, you all know, you guys bought me a new refrigerator here recently in the last few months, and I'm so appreciative of it. And it's my first new one. I've never owned a new refrigerator before. We have always existed on used refrigerators. And a lot of them have worked, and some of them have worked a long time. But that's the thing with the used, you just don't know when they're going to take a dump. And then you've got no recourse. Now you got no refrigerator, no warranty, no nothing, you know?
Yeah.
So probably better off with a new one in the long run.
Yeah. It should last us, and I've got the warranty and stuff on it as well. Yeah. So.
It probably more cost effective in the long run, to be honest with you. But
yeah. It's an energy efficient bloody thing. So
that is an odd question, Bandsma. Have I ever been inside an empty fridge? I don't think so. Not that I recall, but you know, the 70s are all kind of a blur for me. So who knows? I have to say, though, that's kind of a strange question. But yeah, no. And even when I put my old fridge out, I tied the door shut, you know, because I'm always worried about some kid getting in it, can't get out. Yeah. Indiana Jones reference. Yeah, I remember that scene where he miraculously survives a nuclear blast by jumping in a refrigerator.
Kid in a fridge.
Yeah.
It's a quest in Fallout 4.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you happen across a fridge on like the nuclear wasteland beach.
Right.
And you can hear a voice coming from it, and you open it up, and it's got a kid ghoul inside of it who's been in there since. Well, I think the story goes that he was in there since the bombs fell. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of random quests in that bloody game, and you have to escort him back to his parents, who are being extorted by some gang or whatever. So, and the mission's called "Kid in the Fridge."
Well, see, that used to be a real issue when I was younger, because back then refrigerators locked, they latched. Now they're pretty much kind of, most refrigerators I've seen, or all of them, are kind of the magnetic thing.
Yeah.
So you should be able to get them open from the inside pretty easily. But back then they latched, and it was a big problem. Kids would see a refrigerator, it looked like a playhouse to them, and they'd close themselves in and suffocate, you know.
Yeah. You knock it on its back and ride it down a hill.
Yeah. But it's not so much of an issue today in these days, though. I wouldn't think, not with the magnetic latches that most fridges have.
And number one, I know what you're saying. I actually do remember there being a video that went out of its way to debunk the mission in Fallout 4. Because the concept is, because the ghouls are obviously a part of the law,
right,
of the world, and they obviously ghouls are made through like radiation or through means of taking drugs, specific cocktail of drugs from Fallout 4. That's what it says in the game anyway. And they were like, there's no way the kid could survive even as a ghoul, because obviously ghouls live much, 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 much longer than humans do.
Right.
But yeah, he most likely wouldn't have been ghoulified, and he still needs to friggin' eat and drink to, they don't need as much, but they still need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is like this 200 plus years. Yeah. So.
Yeah. That doesn't make sense. Yeah. I knew they lived much longer. I mean, in Fallout 3, you talked to at least one ghoul that it was at the museum, and you talked to her, and she talked about being alive before the bombs fell. So you knew they lived much longer, but I wouldn't think that they could survive without breathing.
Yeah. I know that there's a video, or at least a couple of videos, that try to debunk it or something. I can't remember. I don't. What was it? It wasn't Game Theory.
But hey, it's game logic. So what are you going to do?
Well, yeah.
Game logic. It's not real world logic.
Yeah, the kid's called Billy. Billy the Kid in the Fridge.
Billy the Kid. Oh, my.
Billy the Kid in the Fridge.
My. Okay.
Hold on. We had his surname a minute ago. I can't remember what it is. Because you meet his parents, and you could kill his parents before meeting him. They're called the Peabodys. Billy Peabody is called.
Billy Peabody.
Yeah. But it's Fallout. You've got Death Claws wandering around. You've got super mutants, ghouls, giant fire ants.
Yeah.
It's and giant super mutants as well. Like I forget what they're called. The hulking, huge ones, the gigantic ones.
Yeah. He isn't any relation to that kid in Fallout 3 where the kid that's in the emergency shelter outside the town where you go in, and they're overrun with the giant ants.
Oh, that's something to do with the superhero law that they have in Fallout, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because you had the Mechanist who was in Fallout 4, but the Mechanist has their own antagonist. Behemoths, they're called, yeah. And I can't remember what they have. I can't remember what the opposite's called. But that was in Fallout 3. Fallout 3's map was so much bigger. Well, it felt bigger.
but I don't think it's the same kid, but if I recall, that kid's name was Billy too. And at the end of it, you realize his parents are gone, and you end up having to take him to that
Little Lamplight.
No, not to Little Lamplight. You take him. Well, you could take him to Little Lamplight, I think was one option, but the other option was to take him to the aircraft carrier that was converted into a city.
Yeah, that's it. Ezoob's got it. Yeah, the antagonizer. Yeah,
antagonizer. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Please continue. Yeah, and the aircraft carrier, which has its own lore,
Right.
and it has that android, which is actually a synth, if I remember.
Yep.
Rightly. And that's how you're they're not called simps though in Fallout 3. Fallout 3 was I don't know what I'd prefer between the two, but Fallout 3 actually felt like a wasteland.
I haven't
so much bigger.
I haven't played 4, so I can't make a judgment call because I just don't feel like my laptop would probably handle it.
4 is better as long as you have the DLCs.
But
not the piddly little DLCs like the building option DLCs. Those are rubbish. I'm talking about the actual quest DLCs.
Right. I had all the DLCs for 3 and played them all numerous times. The Fallout 3 is one of those games that I was able to go back to many times. I still would now, except I have it on my Xbox and it's busted, so can't play it.
Yeah, I tried to get Fallout 3 to work not so long ago, but it wouldn't. It well, not on this computer, it's ages ago now. But yeah, Fallout New Vegas. Yeah, New Vegas is the best of all the Fallouts. I completely agree.
I know that's a popular opinion, but I'm one of those people that I just didn't care for New Vegas.
For a redneck, like that's surprising. Like being in the desert and stuff.
Yeah, I just didn't care for it.
Well, you're right. You're right. It's not Bethesda, it's Obsidian, but it's a Fallout title.
It just didn't have the same feel to me as 3, and it just felt off. And I did play it, but it just felt off for me.
That's because it's crazier than 3.
Well, that's true.
Because Old World Blues is one of my favorite things within the Fallout universe. It's hilarious because you said if you've played New Vegas, yeah, so
yeah.
Have you played Old World Blues?
I don't remember the name of the DLCs.
Yeah, that I believe that was the second DLC, and you get transported to Big MT or whatever it's called, and they lobotomize you, and they take your brain out of your head, and you speak to all these crazy scientists, these mad scientists.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I played that. Actually, the copy of New Vegas that I played was my ex-son-in-law's copy, so I don't think I had any of the DLCs with that. Not sure.
Mate, that DLC, if you haven't played it, you're missing out. Just that on its own, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It really is. And the missions are actually pretty. I would say they were fairly challenging as well. But they gave you the options to upgrade your body in certain ways too,
And yeah, Devil Fruit Zero. I actually have the first 2 Fallouts on CD. I have them. I have hard copies here in my house. They're in the other room.
You could replace your heart and spine later, but they took your brain from you. And of course, you get the stealth suit from there as well. But yeah, you basically. You get into an argument with your own brain, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, my Green Thunder Demise Big Mountain gives me my favorite companion, the stealth suit.
Yeah, stealth suit. Awesome.
My favorite companion outside of dog meat, because I do love dog meat. And yes, I used to play and talk to him. Who's a good dog? Who's the bestest boy? But it was in Fallout 3, and it was the super mutant.
I know. Yeah. He could actually speak properly, couldn't he?
Yeah, and I loved having him with me. He was my favorite. Took you a while to get to the point where you could get him, but yeah.
Oh yeah, because he was involved in the quest line.
Yeah.
And that's when you take on
Fox. Thank you, Izu.
yeah,
Yes. Thank you, Fox. Yes.
Because you find him in a bunker, don't you? In a vault.
Yep.
And he's being kept. I forget what they're called now. The Enclave. The Enclave have him, don't they? And he helps you break out.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He was my favorite. Sure liked him much more than I liked. Speaking of companions, different game, but same company. Skyrim. Your first companion?
Lydia.
Well,
she's not your first companion. Like, you don't have to have, like, technically speaking, your first companion would be the archer in Riverwood.
Yeah, you could, but he was.
He had more personality than friggin' Lydia did.
Those people, I consider those rent-a-companions. I'm talking about you know what I mean?
Well, no, you didn't have to pay to get him. You had to do a short little quest. You had to resolve a love triangle to get him. Yeah, but he's not a good one. He's not the best one.
I always done that one by getting them both, telling on both of them. I'm like, you guys are both weird. I'm going to tell the truth about both of you.
Yeah.
But Lydia, couldn't stand her. I used her because, you know, she was the best option at the moment. But the first time I got a chance to get another one, yeah.
You're one of my best choices. There were two, actually, that I felt were the best companions in the vanilla game.
Yeah.
And that was one of the renter companions that sits in the Drunken Huntsman. And she's like an elf type. Like, she's tough as shit. And there's also a mage in the one in the bottom right corner where the Thieves Guild is. What's it called? Riften, that's it.
Yeah.
There's a mage who sits in the pub in there, and he's like, I found him to be quite good.
Yeah, I always end up using
Zago.
The black chick with the twin scimitars. Can't remember her name, but usually end up.
Bloodwing's over here going, get yourself a black chick with dual scimitars, and
that's right, that's right. But yeah, Lydia, I'm here to carry your burdens.
I know, just no personality. Like,
shut up. I used to delight in trying to get her killed. I would save it first, you know, but it would tickle me to try to get her killed.
Oh yeah, the vampire chick. Yeah, she's quite good.
Yeah.
So I liked her because she had bags of personality too, you know. And you had the option of like post quests line, like curing her of vampirism, or I think you can marry her, can't you?
Yeah, I think she is one of the marriable characters.
Serana. I love some of the characters that modders have made. You know, that you can have as a companion.
Yeah.
I forget there's a female, and you find her naked outside Whiterun.
Yeah.
And she's like hung over and stuff, and she's a bit of an airhead.
My companion, if I married somebody in there, and I can't explain why, I just always did it, that were my defaults, were either the girl that was in the love triangle with the elf and the bard. Can't remember her name, but her brother owned the shop there in the first town that you end up in.
Mm-hmm.
Or the chick in Whiterun that asked for you to get 2 tusks for her and some other stuff because she was trying to get started being a trader.
Oh yeah. I'd usually marry her.
She was a redhead.
Yeah.
I like getting her because she actually brings money in because she owns that business, you know, after you get her started. So,
well, they all bring money in.
Yeah, but I don't know.
There are mods and stuff you can get where you can actually own like a shop.
Yeah,
and then you can put your woman to work or your husband, depending on like whatever your preferences are, obviously. But
yeah,
there was
not
a mod
judging, not judging.
There was a mod that I used to have where it would attach like a store to the side of Breeze Home, and you could put your spouse to work in it, and all you had to do was keep coming back and just put in stuff like all your loot in it, and your partner would sell it.
Yeah.
The Wabberjacks, and of course Shia Garaff's right there. The Wabberjack!
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's an interesting tool. I'll call it a tool because it's not exactly a weapon, is it?
No, not really. But oh my gosh, look at the time.
Look at the damn time.
It is 4:31 by the clock I'm looking at, and so we've went a little bit over.
I need to go to the toilet pretty badly.
And so real quick, this is where I thank everybody that come out. Thank you for giving us your views, your comments, the stuff you've said in chat. Thank you to those that were able to go a little further and donate. It will go to good use. And thank you, Alex, for joining me when you could. We've both been so busy; it's hard to work this out. So. Thank you. Anything you want to shout out?
My last video. I know it's an hour and 20 minutes, guys, but it is a lot of hard work went into it. Of course, it was a collaborative effort, not just between me and the two ladies that were involved, but a whole bunch of other creators and people who exist within the drama sphere on YouTube also helped out a great deal as well. So I'd really appreciate it if you took the time to go watch it, if not just for the Lord Bear song, and the new Lord Bear reveal as well.
There you go.
Because it's something that I actually paid for. So please go give that a watch, guys. Go give it a watch.
Yeah, go do it. What are you doing? Still sitting here?
Listen to Fab. She knows what she's talking about.
As for me, just a reminder, there will not be a Redneck Radio on Saturday because I have to work. It looks like next week, though, there will be 3 streams because I only work on Monday and Friday. So as it goes right now, that could change. Who knows? And also Sunday, I hope to get back on track for 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time premiere for Redneck Trek. Should be recording the footage for that later today and get that put together for that. So be on the lookout for that. But until then, as always, get out of my yard.
Bye, guys.